So sitting next to me today is a 2015 Lexus IS, and this is just the base model, rear-wheel drive form of it, nothing special. And today I'm going to be showing you what there is to love about a used Lexus and whether or not you should buy one. So let's hop right into the video. So what is the IS 250 powered by from 2015? Well, it is powered by a 2.5 liter V6 that makes 204 horsepower and 185 pound-feet of torque. And that is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission that leads out to the rear wheels, of course. Now, I know that doesn't sound like a lot of power, but honestly, and when we get to the driving reveal, I'll go in more in depth with this, it doesn't feel that slow. All right, now moving on to the exterior of the Lexus IS, I've always liked the front ends of these. They look a lot more aggressive than its C-Class competitors with these sharp design headlights and this large grille up front with the large Lexus badge. And of course, you have your running lights right here for daytime and then your fog lights down below. Other than that, nothing is really special about up front in the Lexus. Now you walk over to the side here, you did have other rim options, but these are the standard 17-inch rims of the 2015 Lexus IS. And the exterior of this car is finished in obsidian gray metallic. I also like the body design of it and how it flows, and it is a good looking sedan. Again, I do think this is more aggressive and more elegant than the C-Class of the same era. And moving over to the back over here, you do have this body colored deck lid spoiler sitting up here, and then these sharp design LED taillights as well, with of course your Lexus IS 250 badge back here. Surprisingly, just like that Infiniti we just reviewed, you have a decently sized exhaust pipe down here, and you do get dual exhaust, and this is what that sounds like. Now overall, I do really like the body design of this car. I feel like it's unique compared to other cars on the road, and when you see a Lexus driving by, you do know it's a Lexus, even though it is manufactured by Toyota. Overall, it's a great looking car. You also get chrome trim pieces around the windows as well, so it adds to that sporty element, and it also adds to that luxury element. All right, hopping into the 2015 Lexus IS 250. Let me just fix my hair real quick. All right, and start the car because it is 48 degrees outside. Okay, sitting in the driver's seat, how is it? Well, you do get analog gauges, which isn't too uncommon for the time when this car came out. And then you get a decently sized center screen for the time that shows your trip information, tire pressure stuff, common stuff like that that you'll find in luxury cars. Now the steering wheel, I'm going to be honest, the leather around it is nice and it's got nice stitching, but it does kind of bring that Toyota feeling into the car. You do get these nice aluminum shift paddles on the back though, which are really nice. This one didn't have really many options equipped with it, but for a standard vehicle, this isn't bad. Overall, the materials in this car are pretty good. You get nice silver pieces right here, soft touch materials all over the dashboard, center console right here on the door rests. And as for the plastic, it's not a very scratchy plastic, it's just a plastic that looks nice. You also get these buttons right here that control your dual zone climate control with your radio settings down below that. And then you have your sport modes and drive modes in this car, which is you have eco, normal, and sport, nothing that special. You also have a snow mode down here below that and your traction control button up above that as well. You also have a sunroof right here that brings in a lot of natural light to the interior just in case you are feeling a little claustrophobic, and it is power operating as well. As for interior storage, you get a USB and aux ports down here in the center console, and for the console right here and for the glove box, you do get a decent amount of space in there as well, and they even give you a parcel shelf in there to be able to separate the things. Now, one of the biggest problems with this car, and I think of Lexus of the era, is the infotainment system, which can be sort of complicated to use if you're first stepping into the car. Getting to the radio and navigating around, it kind of gives me Mercedes Benz vibes, but a lot worse. So it can be kind of complicated, and it isn't the most responsive to your touch. But you do get your phone settings, display settings, radio and media. Of course, you can connect a Bluetooth phone to this, but you do not get Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. As for the seats, they are also a nice material, but as you can see, the headrests are missing. Don't know why, that's how we got the car. But overall, the front seat in this car is a nice place to be. it gives me a different feeling than most luxury cars do. You just feel nestled in by everything, and everything is taken care of you. You're very secluded from road noise. So yes, the front seats of this car are very nice to be in, and even though it is 6 years old at this point, you do get a lot of modern features in it. All right, now as for the back seats, they are just as comfortable, even though you do suffer a little bit from the headroom, though the headliner is very nice and soft and velvety. Center console back here, you get cup holders, of course, if I can figure out how to get them out. Oh, there they are. They do feel a little flimsy, like if you were to put a large drink in there, it might fall out. But it is wrapped in a nice soft leather, and the seats back here are perforated and super soft. Of course, the nice materials carry back from the front back here. Nice soft leather everywhere, except for down near the bottom of the door. You do get some scratchy plastic, and this one, of course, didn't have many upgrades. As for knee room back here, you get a decent amount, and you do have good backseat pocket space with air vents back here, just so your rear seat passengers don't get cold or too hot. All right, so driving the Lexus IS 250. Right now it's in eco mode, so it's taking a little bit of time to accelerate, but that V6 does not sound bad from the interior of this car. I'm just going to pop it into normal, that way you get some, actual power out of this thing. I'm not going to use 204 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque to its max potential because it is raining outside and these roads are pretty slick and they're thin, but I'm going to do my best. Now, unlike the Infiniti, this handles a lot better. The steering feels more direct and the car just feels a little more planted. And that might be some kind of, placebo, where I think it is, but honestly, the Infiniti had such dodgy steering at high speeds and this does not. But we could pop it into sport mode, and the throttle response, of course, picks up. And you're able to get some decent power out of it, but only 184 pound-feet of torque. You're not really going to be getting up hills that fast. And even when we were doing a pass on the way up here, it took quite a bit of time compared to the Infiniti's twin-turbo V6. Now, at times, the transmission in automatic mode has a hard time deciding what gear it wants to be in. And if you pop it into manual mode, it takes about a second for the transmission to respond at times, but every once in a while you do get a pretty instant and clean shift into the next gear, just like that. But there's a little bit of a jolt. Now, as for comfort and everything like that, of course it's a Lexus, so it is pretty comfortable up here. And with the AC blowing and everything like that, it heats up this car in cold weather pretty quickly as well. We've got a bit of a turn right here. Let's see how it does compared to the Infiniti. I don't think, and I don't feel a difference in steering between normal and eco and sport mode. They all feel quite a bit the same. It's mostly just the throttle response. But again, even in sport mode in the Infiniti, it just did not feel this direct. The steering in the Lexus is much, much better. Now, this being naturally aspirated, you really have to rev this thing out to get its peak performance, because if you do not, you're going to be waiting for it to make peak horsepower, and that can be quite time-consuming, especially because this feels like a very slow revving engine, and the gears just aren't timed for it. The gears aren't made to go like that. But yes, the steering is a lot better. And surprisingly, it doesn't feel as tight, but you don't get an instant reaction out of the steering wheel like you do. That's my biggest thing. Now, when it comes to the chassis and suspension of the vehicle, it doesn't float, but it's also not too harsh. So going over bumps, you might feel a bit of a bump because it's still a little sporty sedan from Lexus, but when you are putting it under pressure and going around corners, it does hold its corner pretty well. Now, under wind conditions and everything like that, because this is a lighter sedan, you do get some push off the road from wind, but this is doing just fine up in this canyon. And the brakes are a little too soft for anyone looking for performance driving out of this thing, which you should not be getting this. You should be getting, if you want a Lexus, maybe an ISF. But the suspension is holding it pretty well, and these stock all-season tires are doing okay. They're not squealing or anything like that, and they're holding the road all right. And we're just doing this in third gear around all these corners. Yeah, it handles itself all right, and if you put the foot down, yeah, see, it doesn't have those turbochargers to assist in that torque. And so you don't get an instant crazy reaction once you put your foot all the way down. And because this isn't really a car made for ripping it through the canyons and hooning it around. But it does feel really good compared to the Infiniti, though slower. This corner. And then when you want it to calm down, it does just fine at doing that. But overall, it's a good driving car, and if you do want some sportiness out of it, you can get some sportiness. All right, and that is the 2015 Lexus IS 250. Now, these are going anywhere, depending on the mileage, between 20 and 30,000, which may seem like a lot. This one, with its 78,000 miles, is going for about 25, which is a little high priced. You can find models like this and examples like this for in the lower 20s. And if you're lucky and go a little higher mileage, maybe even less than that. Honestly, I think this is a good car to buy, especially because it's made by Toyota. You get that extra reliability out of it. It is a little punchy. It's not the fastest car in the world. And you do get a good amount of luxury tech in this car for 2015. When you go into these common years, it's not that big of a deal. But anyways, if you like the video, make sure you hit that like button down below. And if you want to see more from us, go ahead and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video.